The return of wild elk to its native land has been an arduous and ongoing task. The efforts of dedicated volunteers, coupled with the resilient nature of this animal, allows the states of North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia to once again count elk among its wild population. Land once thought of as useless has proven to be the catalyst in the latest chapter in elk restoration.
It came to me through one of our county representatives that the opportunity would be to go to Richmond and speak to the board of Game and Inland Fishery. Myself and W.J. Cottle and Frankie Landreth was representing Southwest Virginia. We got to present our thoughts and ideas to the board, and came back and formed our own chapter of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, which is Southwest Virginia Coalfields chapter. We got very involved with the game and inland fishery to start looking for areas in Southwest Virginia that might be a prospect for a relocation of elk. Was contacted by a gentleman with the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries, Alan Boyington, about looking at some of the properties that I knew of that he had not had the opportunity to view. You know, they've been looking for areas and wanting to do this, and we set a date to go out and do this. And Alan walks up on this one spot and he looks at it and he kind of gives me a big grin, you know, and he said, "Right here's where we want to put the elk." And I said, "Really?" You know, because to me that got my heart pumping. Hey, we do have something that's got their interest, what they want to do, and as far as the game department. And it set me on a quest to start gathering information about landowners. So I make those contacts to the folks. Alan also makes contacts with folks. And then part of our members of our Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation chapter actually own some of this property. Once we determined that it looked like everybody's going to be cooperative with what we need to do, we start worrying about soil samples and testing and what we need to do to enhance the food we already have there for wildlife. We took soil samples from all the locations that had been worked with and made into food plots, but the food was already there. It was just some stuff we had to do to enhance that. We only get one area back that actually needs lime. You know, you go back to the folks that did the reclamation, and this is through the coal groups and the gas groups. When they prepared this and fixed it, it was done right to begin with. To talk to some of the folks, when we talk about strip mining and gas wells, in their opinions or in their mind, they saw just a massive destruction. And it was very nice for me to be able to take pictures of properties that have been, as we refer to as mine reclamation, that has been put back and developed not only as a food source, but for schools, for our parks, for housing developments, for just a way of life. Our livelihood for Southwest Virginia, Kentucky, and the rest of us is our coal. You know, we have to have these areas, once the coal's mined for the energy and stuff, put back just so we have level ground. We don't have a lot of places to build on and expand and do things without this reclamation. Our pipelines, our drill sites, you know, drilling is one thing we have to have in this area to extract the gas from underneath the surface here. And, you know, that keeps our lights on. That pays our bills. That puts our kids through school. And it's been a way of life for me now for almost 30 years. You know, I started right out of high school doing this. My dad worked on a strip mine. And to see it develop into what it's really came into, it's not a destructive thing anymore. The Department of Mine Minerals and Energy, the Department of Gas and Oil, and folks that have stepped up and come to us and say, hey, what can we do as a seed blend to make things better for the wild turkey, for the elk, for deer? And we have gotten that kind of commitment from our companies that are involved with this. without the strip mining, without the gas line construction of pipelines and stuff, a lot of the roads and stuff in here would not be here, wouldn't be accessible. Properties we own, you know, we can't spend that kind of money to build a road. But now it's accessible thanks to the way that it's put back. Our chapter start getting together on some Saturdays and some Sundays and start working with some different pieces of the property that's, you know, maybe all briar patches that just need a little bit of an attention there to clean those up and get a little bit of fertilizer or something out, or put down a little more clover seed and just enhance what was already there. And this has went on, you know, since in 2010 we first started discussing it. What we're going to do here in Virginia is build a holding facility to do what's known as a soft release. Hold the elk that came from Kentucky here, whatever they saw that the need for those elk to settle in here and get comfortable, rather than just opening the gate off of a trailer and turning them loose in an area that they're not acclimated to. You've got volunteers from our chapter. We've got folks from the Department of Game and Inland Fishery. We got folks there from the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. If you watched the way a lot of us worked together, you thought we'd worked our entire careers together. It was just great communication amongst a lot of great volunteers, and the Department of Game was some of the best people I've ever worked with. The release date, we had over 200 people to attend. This was actually done by invitation. A lot of that reason is it's private land. And Buchanan County, you know, we don't have a lot of public land available. And that was a concern for the department when they came in here, and as well as a lot of us that are involved with wildlife. How can we get folks to enjoy the elk, or how can we get folks to see in the elk and stuff if they're on private land? And that also plays into part of the hunting season. You know, it's all private land. So there's some different things and different plans in the works that once a hunting season's available, we would work with them as far as lands we have leased to allow those folks that draw a tag to go in and hunt and take them in. And I think that will work real well because we have thousands of acres available through that. Same for viewing. You know, right now where we have the elk, it's on private land and it's inaccessible to the public without some of us escort them in there. The best suggestion I would have to the public out here, you know, if you want to see them or view them, get up with some of us that does have access to this, and we'll work with you to try to get an opportunity to see these elk. But I would encourage you to talk to your supervisors in your districts and ask them to work with us and develop areas that is on public. And there is areas out there that is great for this if we can just get help from the county, from volunteers. We're all the time looking for volunteers to join in and help us do stuff. We can offer a lot of assistance through volunteer programs to develop this. Would be great for everyone. One of the great things is the tracking systems that they do have on these animals. You know, they've went to a huge expense to be able to monitor and track these animals, just so if something does happen to one, whether it be nature itself or somebody has poached one of them or something, they can find this animal really quick and also track it right back to who has done this. So we have a lot of cameras and stuff out there. We've got cameras that take still photos. We have cameras, you know, can do just video recording, but probably the best one's been the most impressive to me is the cameras that can take photographs and send them to a remote location. You know, whether it be Richmond, whether it be anywhere. The cameras are available now that are just amazing. So I've been very impressed with some of the stuff that they can do, that if you harvest one of these animals illegally, that I'm pretty confident they'll be able to find it and take care of and handle it the way that it needs to be taken care of. Our success rate so far, what we've saw out of the calves, the 4 that was born either during the transport from Kentucky to Virginia or in the pen once they was here in Virginia, all 4 calves that we were released were bulls. So we're on a path with bulls, but the reproductive cow we've been short on. So our numbers this year, we've released 16. 5 of those were bulls, 11 cows. 10 of those cows were bred. And between getting to view and trail cameras and watch, we know now there's been at least 2 additional calves besides the 4 that we released. Through the satellite telemetry and the different tracking systems they have available for this, they could monitor and watch all the activity going on with the elk. The 2 largest bulls that was brought over that will actually be old enough to breed for this fall stayed with the group for a few days, and then they got on a quest to explore the mountains in southwest Virginia, and they went about 7 miles out and just kind of followed the ridge lines and checking things out. They have now, made it back to the herd after exploring for several weeks in different areas and traveling. And then some of the cows, they've went out, maybe a mile or so away from the release site. All the elk now are back within the area where they was released, within 3/4 of a mile of it anyway. The goal when all this came about was for Buchanan County to receive 75 elk. Our goal is for 2013 is to, try to get 25 to 35 elk, possibly from Kentucky if they have a successful trapping season and everything would work out with Missouri, that could be shared with us. And if possible, we would be able to close out in the 3rd year of our 75. If that doesn't work, then we'll go into the 4th year, or even the 5th year if need be, to get our 75. Now, one great thing about this, our 75 number is not reflected by the number of calves that come over. It's only reflected by the number of mature elk that's trapped and came. So the calves we received are a bonus. Range Resource approached me first to be a habitat partner. And I contacted the folks with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation to see what we needed to do, and they came in here. And that kind of got things rolling along the way we could do it. And then Consol Energy come on board as a habitat partner. And then we had R&K Pipe, which is a company out of Louisiana that I've dealt with and got to know a gentleman for many, many years. And K&K Construction, which is Howard Cook and those guys that not only became habitat partners, but donated time and equipment for the pen to be developed. Noah Horn Well Drilling also donated some time and to prepare and to bring water in, so that we would have water there as needed as elk were held in the pen. Friends and family of Noah Horn Well Drilling, people that's either hunted or just been around Noah there for many years. And then also we've got the Ultra Group, which is several companies that kind of band together to join in this, and that was Jeff Taylor with Ultra Pipeline, and then Street Law Firm and Dennis Ramey. And there's they grouped together and pledged this. And what these 7 groups have done is, over a 5-year period, has pledged money for this. And then our banquets, our fundraisers, we do through our banquets. And then over the past couple of years, we're nearing about $200,000 that has went into this program. And thankful that the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation was so strong in this and so supportive of it in the very beginning. Approached the Department of Game and put $300,000 into this to see this happen. So what we try to do now as volunteers through this is raise that money back, and then additional money to keep this project going for the years to come. And I just want to say thanks to all those folks that either are habitat partners or attend our banquets and support. Because without them, it doesn't give us a chance to do the groundwork we need to do to get out here and develop habitat and do the wildlife conservation that a lot of us enjoy so much. So special thanks to all those folks. Throughout your lifetime, you don't have a lot of opportunities, or maybe never have the opportunity to get involved or do something that can change so many lives and bring opportunities to so many folks to enjoy something as this can. And that's why I think it's been so fulfilling for me to be a part of this chapter and to have this chapter see this project from day one till now, and to continue with supporting it for hopefully many years to come.
The reclamation of mine property has allowed land once regarded as unsuitable to be developed into ideal habitat for humans and nature as well. The forecasted success of Virginia's elk restoration, much like the proven program in Kentucky, is due in no small part to areas such as these. With the continued efforts of volunteers, conservation organizations, and government agencies, the possibilities and the benefits of mine reclamations are limitless.